Bueno, pues nada. Bueno, empezamos directo, gente. Muy buenas, especial Halloween. Empezamos un juego que tenía bastantes ganas de darle cañita, ¿va? Después del Metro 2033 empezamos de Sherlock Holmes de Awakening. Bueno, es el remake de... Bueno, cuando salió este juego en su momento, pues bueno, se ha hecho un remake más actualizado, más moderno. Y como estamos en mes de juegos de terror y temas de misterios y tal, pues oye, pues vamos a jugar un juego de lo que es misterios, puzzles, con toques de deidades cósmicas a los Lovecraft, el tema de Capitulo y tal. Y bueno, pues cambiar un poco la variedad de juegos que hemos estado haciendo y nada. Así que nada, recordad, todos los vídeos los resubimos en el canal de YouTube principal. Suscribiros, comentar. Así que vamos, espero que os guste. Vamos a ello, capítulo 1, partida nueva. Este juego básicamente es hacer puzzles y misterios de Sherlock Holmes, tampoco tiene... Oh. La sombra sobre Londres. Empezamos bien. Hostia, porque eres triste. ¿Está subtitulado o está doblado? Dudo mucho que esté doblado este juego. ¿Dónde va? Mira, del periódico. Estoy picándome ahí.
Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And
Oh, se la ha comido.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Ahí está la mesa, el desgraciado. A ver, temas de control. Oh, mira qué bien se mueve. Gráficamente, hostia, se ve muy bien. Salió el anterior a este, que era de los inicios de Sherlock, que era versión joven, porque bueno, habitualmente han sido siempre que era más mayor y tal. Y el único juego de Sherlock Holmes doblado fue el de Jack el Destripador, que me pareció me parece una maravilla de juego. Y estuvo guapo, la verdad. Estos juegos son para pasar una tarde tranquila, de chill, así, ¿sabes? De misterios y tal. Tiene mucho más. Lo que no hay, hostia, o sea, estaría muy bien que los doblaran, ¿sabes? ¿Ves? Para interaccionar con los objetos, ¿eh? Vamos.
Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming.
They keep coming. Y el periódico de hoy. London Adversaire, septiembre de 1882. En el 82. La tensión entre Inglaterra y Suecia están escalando tras una serie de percances desafortunados durante la recién visita a Londres de la princesa sueca Hildur. El mayor de los escándalos fue la vergüenza de los cuerpos diplomáticos británicos tras la desaparición inexplicable del guardaespaldas personal de la princesa Hildur. El miembro veterano de su círculo más cercano se aventura en explorar Londres mientras estaba libre y nunca volvió de su paseo nocturno. Un portavoz de la policía te asegura que The ¿Cómo? Advertiser, que están seguros que lo encontrarán, ya que es un miembro llamativo del pueblo escandinavo, un hombre. Así llama la atención. Ya sea de los otros hombres, ya sea la de otros hombres en los clubs para aves o el de las aves nocturnas que les consuelan. ¿Cómo? Aves nocturnas.
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting.
Chismes locales.
I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your
Stemwick?
coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
Nada, investiguemos. ¿Cómo? ¿Más 4 puntos? ¿Qué hay que hacer ahora? Vale, con este se corre. Joder, si es que antes, o sea, antes era una cosa muy... el control era una cosa así, los controles antes. Te paraba y te movías. Era una cosa muy lenta. Hostia, es que ahora mira, puedes hacer esto y puedo bailar y todo.
The dustbin is yours for the digging, Mr. Holmes.
Venga, hombre. Vamos a dar una vuelta. Hasta luego. ¿Cómo? Haremos con esto. Ropero. Ah, mira. Hostia, qué guapo. ¿Por qué tengo todo esto? Habrá que ponerse ese, que está calentito, ¿no? Espera un momento. ¿Me puedo poner sombrero? Me puedo poner sombrero. Hostia, mira, pone gafas y todo. Hostia, esto es para los disfraces, porque se disfraza. Está el Watson también, ¿eh? Ah, me tengo que poner... Hostia, me tengo que poner sombrero, cabrón. Yo no quiero sombrero, pero bueno. Mira qué sombrerito más mono. Me he puesto aquí. Coño. Está lloviendo. Va. Mira al niño con las pesetillas. ¿Dónde voy?
Don't look at me. If you want the newspaper, you'll have to get your hands dirty.
Joder, las pintas que tiene ese. Librería Barner. La gente que pasa aquí se queda aquí tranquilamente.
Strong gaze. I think this man deserves a knighthood.
¿Fresco qué? Cabrones.
How can you be so sure?
On rare occasions, Watson, it can suffice to trust one's gut.
¿Qué hace? Mira. Está haciendo cosas. Por los botines. ¿Cómo que estás descansando? Estoy de descanso. Pues supongo que tendrá que tener su descanso, digo yo. Oye, el niño, el del periódico, ¿dónde coño está, tío? Que estoy explorando la ciudad esta chunga. Joder, macho. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Está roto o qué? Tuvimos... ¿Qué hace este con el cuchillo? Mira, está jugando ahí. Joder, tío, los NPCs todos son iguales. O sea, anda que se lo han currado mucho, ¿eh? Esa parte. Hay un gatito. Casa solaria de Stenwick. A ver, yo he salido... Vale, yo he salido de aquí, yo he venido por aquí. El otro camino era por aquí. Hay que ir por aquí. Vale. ¿Por qué llora? ¿La han desahuciado? No me jodas. ¿Qué me pasa? Joder, macho, anda que abriría yo con esas pintas. ¿Te digo? Este es el mercado. Aquí tenemos el mercado, que no hay nada. Por cierto, no hay nada. Mira las chichas ahí. Me vas a decir, no, coño está el periódico, tío, de la gente. Tengo que seguir, mira, el rastro. Yo, algún gracioso tiene que estar jugando con el periódico. Vamos a ver. En el contenedor. ¿Cuál contenedor? ¿Aquí? Esto, aquí. Un palillo chino, ¿no?
A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool.
Ah, qué bien.
You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
¿Qué pasa, niño? ¿Qué tienes ahí
Sorry, Mr.
inventado?
Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Blast. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
Any breaking news today?
The dog accident. It's the talk of the town.
Yes. Besides the tripe on the front page, anything about burglaries?
I'm not sure, sir.
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on
¿Y
around
el
here.
periódico qué?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson,
Cool, now I can take the day off.
Tía.
did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive. Hence the appeal of disguises. Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
All right.
Qué mal, oye,
You
así
earned
no
your
se puede.
shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears. If you have more shillings.
Cabrón, yo me estoy sobornando.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the...
Palacio mental. Aquí lo tenemos. ¿Quién arruinó The Strand? Y luego tenemos esto. ¿Pero qué pasa? Me faltan pistas. Está el testimonio y los libros. Claro. Ese mismo fue.
From that Mr. Holmes murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his scruples.
Not every pawn knows it's part of a game.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here. Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
¿O foto? Aquí, ¿dónde está la librería? Ah, ya sé dónde está la librería. Estaba el descanso el cabrón. Tulu, 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 tulu. Tuturiri. la librería tiene que estar aquí. Yo digo, ¿dónde coño está? Hola.
Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you? Okay, perhaps from Cordona.
Buenas tardes. Inspección. Uy, un perrito.
Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
Le vamos a observar un poquito. Uy, eso es un problema. Hay que trabajar, hay que descansar, ¿eh? Importantísimo. Hostia, mira cómo tiene los dedos. Tinta de periódico. Tacones. Bolsa de hojas, consecuencia de trabajar demasiado. Dolor pierna izquierda. Podría
Mr.
ser, ¿eh?
A word.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Por qué se va?
Oh, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please?
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Pero si me has visto.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or
Yo
two?
te lo juro 2 veces.
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
No, really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes
No,
doesn't
quiero hablar
seem like
contigo.
himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out.
Habrá que detectar si está pasando algo. Puede ser que sea una víctima de chantaje, ¿eh? Siempre es un chantaje. ¿Qué es esa?
Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby. I could hardly imagine anything more macabre.
Entro, le cojo unas pesetillas.
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
No, no es. No es.
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
The ladder is broken, recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
Hay algo ahí. A ver.
An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible. In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient
¡Ah! Seguro. No es el primero que juego, ¿eh? Y esto ayuda a la mente. Es como cuando haces un sudoku. Genio.
finest view London has to offer.
Hola, tengo 3. La pista. Oye, por cierto, ¿se escucha bien o no? Tenemos todas las pistas, ¿no?
We're looking for a cactus needle in a haystack. A spine in a book stack. No, come on, Watson, think.
Vale, hemos encontrado todas las pistas. Este desgraciado no nos abre. El perrito. Hola. ¿Se ha buceado?
Dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rain.
Un perrillo ahí.
Hello there. What's your name?
Lily, I know, not very original.
¿Cómo? ¿Lily? Vamos a ver. A ver, este señor está metido en algo. ¿Vale? Escalerinas rotas. Y los libros. Vale. Esto es otra cosa. Las flores muertas. Estos son los documentos del... Tenemos un catálogo de plantas exóticas. A ver, hay un testimonio de un chico. El cactus está envenenado. ¿Qué nos ha envenenado? Y tiene un catálogo de plantas exóticas. Vale. Nos faltan datos sobre esto. Eso está bien. Y luego la escalera rota. Son las flores muertas. Verdaderamente esto me encajaría también, pero hay algo más. Pero me faltan datos, ¿eh? Me falta algo más, ¿eh? Porque tenemos las flores. Pero es que esto está... Claro, ¿ves? Esto sí, las flores me encajan. Pero escalera rota y catálogo de plantas exóticas. Tenemos una pista. Los agentes.
I should have worn something warmer.
A ver. Puede que nos quede alguna pista o algo. No debería.
I like bookshops. One of the few spots in London where you are shunned for making a racket. Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
So, Answer's a dog now. Who's a good boy? So, Answer's a dog now. Who's a good boy?
Tenemos el puto retrato este que puede ser que haga.
I could hardly imagine anything more macabre.
¿Tendrá algo ahí? Son objetos, es que me falta algo más.
Is this familiar to you?
I can't help you with that, sir.
Help me, please.
I wish I could help, but I know nothing.
Y nadie sabe nada.
Are you able to help me?
I can't help you with that, sir.
Can I ask you a question?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Is this familiar to you?
A lady doesn't know about such things.
¿Cómo que una dama no habla de esas cosas?
My gratitude, Sir Arthur. Are you able to help me?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
¿Este?
Do you know anything about this?
It's a shame, but I can't help you.
¿No? tendrá que saber la
People
señora
don't
esta.
tend to come out for flowers when it rains. Perhaps I should try selling door to door.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
El capto.
The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something. It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them.
Familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin?
¿Está colaborando con la de la floristería?
Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
Sí, 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 sí. Observemos, observemos. Esta señora que tiene la boca. Ah, que lleva maquillaje. ¿Para coquetería o para cubrir cansancio? Uy, pintarse la coquetería. ¿Qué es esto? Unos botones. Las de lujo. Poco común para la ropa de trabajo. Uy, esta tiene dinero. ¿Eso qué es? A ver, ¿qué tenemos? Broche de luto en honor al marido fallecido. Fuego común para la ropa de trabajo. Lleva maquillaje, ¿por qué? ¿Por coquetería o para cubrir cansancio? Uy. Botas limpias, ha cambiado el calzado al llegar. No sé, qué ganas de cambiarse. Mirada distante, evita el contacto visual o está distraída. No sé, no sé. Todo listo. ¿Cómo? A ver, sinceramente. No.
My condolences, Mrs. Fleming.
Mr. Holmes?
Your husband's death. You're clearly still in mourning.
Oh, no. I loved him more than anything, of course, but that was some time ago now. Life goes on.
A lesson we all learn, one way or another. One of these things is not like the other.
Me equivoqué en el perfil.
Come
Joder,
again?
pues anda que
The
no ha pasado
cactus.
tiempo, entonces,
Those fearsome
entonces
spines
oculta
can
algo.
prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
¿Y por qué va bien tan bien vestida?
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless. Though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right.
Ah, ¿sí, no? Joder.
Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. I don't know anything about this, sorry. I don't know anything about this, sorry. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
Ah. Vale. Vamos a ver. Tenemos nuevas pistas. Esta señora tiene algo que ver. Esto no. Flores muertas a exposición. Las de Freddy. Esto sí es. Sí.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
Algo no me cuadra. Este señor está aquí de nuevo.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
Y no sale el cabrón, se ha quedado ahí.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer.
Uy, se ha puesto nervioso.
I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
Entonces era eso.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package.
Yo es que no
heavy too.
entiendo nada, te lo
And
juro.
when I got to your
Espera, que
door,
me lío en
I
un
dropped the
momento.
cactus in your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true.
Oh.
I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman.
directo.
What is the
Coño,
worst that
cago en
can
la
happen?
puta.
She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things.
Lánzate, hombre, sin miedo.
Thank you.
So at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation.
Uy, la más oscuros de traducciones.
Yes,
Cuidado.
okay. Just give me the paper.
El periódico, coño. Explosión en salitre sacude puerto. Te manda un logro. Leer entre líneas. Oh, ayuda a Barnes con el amor de su vida. ¿Cómo es esto? Este juego tiene los logros y trofeos muy fáciles. Muy fuerte. Explosión de salitre, sacude el puerto. Los lugareños del puerto de Londres se despertaron sobresaltados anoche con fuertes estallidos y un humo rojo que interrumpió el descanso. El barco mercante Worcester arribó al muelle N3 por la tarde en su ruta hacia Europa, cuando se sucedieron varias explosiones que conmocionaron a todos. Aún no han comentado del incidente las autoridades portuarias y se desconoce si había tripulantes a bordo en este momento. Los testigos afirmaron ver una fuga en el salitre al río, pero como la zona está restringida a trabajadores y al público, es posible que pase un tiempo antes de que tengamos un informe completo de lo ocurrido. O sea, que no se sabe una puta mierda porque no se sabe nada, porque no se sabe qué ha pasado exactamente.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
Flaming. Esto no lo seguimos porque es tontería. Fuera muerte.
I'm sure Barnes has had enough of our meddling, Mr. Holmes. We best be off.
Vámonos.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No.
Doctor.
Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill-applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
Está en Londres, siempre pasa.
Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Dame el caso.
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career.
But it's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby.
Vamos a ver al señor. Está por aquí, ¿no? Pues nada, hemos ayudado al señor a que le diga algo a la señora. Vale, en fin. Bueno, básicamente lo muy... Ah, no, es aquí, ¿no? ¿Está aquí? Sí. Aquí.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles. And it's my superiors who make this decision, sir.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not out.
A ver, en parte tiene razón, no es prioritario, pero hostia, es un problema.
Captain Stenwick.
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me.
La policía como siempre, ¿sabes? Aquí se desentiende, tío. Para eso pagas
Captain,
inútiles.
perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
Ah.
May I see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
Tell me about Kimmy here.
He's foreign. A Maori. All the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen. And as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English. Never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
I take it this is the first time Kimmy here has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
Is there any reason Kimmy here may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Bueno, empleo digno. No sé yo si en esa época, bueno, sí, en esa época sí se llama empleo digno. Sí.
Did Kimmy here make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person.
No. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
Redáctalo a las autoridades, que les den por culo. Esta es la investigación encontrada, vamos a investigar. Que nos escapa un notas. Con su permiso, vamos a buscar aquí pistas y cosas. A ver qué hay aquí dentro. Joder, el muro este está roto, tío.
Chewing tobacco.
Tabaco de mascar, ojo.
A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Looks like a knee print. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Vamos, que se estuvo aburriendo.
To read the ground like an open book.
Vale, nos falta algo. La coña. Nos falta algo más. Si tienes suficientes pruebas, Solo puede usar la imaginación para reconstruir el pasado.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
Pero podemos forzarlo o no.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right. The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney.
A ver, entramos aquí. Tiene el bocata aquí. Es una cara, ¿no?
Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here.
Está lejos aquí.
Small navy spyglass. No air coming through it. Is this a taniwha, a Maori water spirit, or something else?
Either way, it's giving me chills.
Clothes made of hessian. Is Sten really so miserly? A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called.
¿Eso qué es?
A scrap of hessian. These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them.
Sten makes a servant live in a tool shed. You think you know someone.
The ashes are long since cold.
Un hueso.
Button chops. The remains of a meal. Chemical odor. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
Ah, I'll never forget that smell after my time in Afghanistan. That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, a narcotic.
Joder. Vale.
Left these tracks. They seem fresh.
Unas marcas.
Through it.
Vale, tenemos dos de las... Tenemos... El de ahí... Que nos falta... Me faltan datos,
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
La policía lo sigue buscando.
Do you think Kimmy here had an accomplice in his escape?
Sí, lo tuvo.
Are you joking? Why would I know this?
The door to your garden has an interesting lock.
Yes, I have uncommon locks on every door of my mansion. It makes them harder to pick. Kimmy here and I both had a set of keys.
I'll need to borrow them.
No, you'll need to do what I tell you to do. Examine the garden.
¿Cómo?
I thought you were meant to be intelligent.
I came across a pile of Hessian clothes in the shack. Are they Kimahir's?
Yes. I had to give him something to clothe himself. He seemed unfazed by his bare skin, but I found it distracting.
Oh, yeah.
Are you joking? Why would I know this?
Is this spyglass familiar?
I don't recognize it.
Could it be Kimahir's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I never saw him with it, nor could I suggest how he might have come by it.
Ya te digo yo que lo sacó de algún lado.
Has Kimahir ever indulged in tobacco?
No. The man doesn't even drink.
Are you certain? I found chewing tobacco in the garden.
I controlled Kimahir's expenses since he struggled with the currency. I would have known if he used tobacco.
Se le está timando, tío.
Are you joking? Why would I know this? Are you joking? Why would I know this? Are you joking? Why would I know this?
Do you happen to know Kimahir's shoe size?
I wouldn't have the foggiest, but I'm sure it was enormous. Not that it matters. He spent his life barefoot. Despite my best efforts, he simply did not take to shoes.
Pues necesito la puta llave.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
El guardaespaldas. Es que seguro que ha sido el guardaespaldas.
Yes, Denwick is no angel, but he's one of my few clients. Please, try to remain courteous.
Vale, yo concuerdo que la persona que tiene el catalejo es esta, que es un marinero. Porque este no podría ser el primero. Principalmente por el pie que calza. Porque este no fuma. Supuestamente no fuma, vale. Me cuadra. ¿Y este? Sí, 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 me cuadra, me cuadra. Pelo tirada. Igual se la quería llevar, Y hay un carruaje. Esto se la lleva. Hombre, esto se lo ha raptado al nota. Ah, tenemos pistas. Catalejo. Buah, tenemos un montón de mierdas aquí. Los restos de abajo me... Esto no tiene nada que ver. Las marcas sí me... Que joder, hay demasiadas cosas. El trapo de las chimeneas, eso sí que es un problema. Catalejo. La cerradura, la de la cerradura es un problema, ¿Dónde nos lleva la vista? Mira, cuando vino del barco. Que no hubo supervivientes. Esto tampoco sería el trapo de la chimenea. Es que el trapo de la chimenea me cuadra. O sea... Todos son pistas. Falta otra cosa. Esto. Vale, este está esperando. Pero es que aún así, es que ya necesito la puta llave, tío.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
Tengo más pistas. Y este cabrón no me quiere dar la puta llave.
Why are you still here?
Espérate. A ver si he encontrado. Ah, que no puedo pasar. Puta madre, ¿en serio? Aquí, joder. Puedo ir por el puerto. Hostia, mira, 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 mira. Espérate, voy a ver si puedo dar la vuelta. No me deja. No me deja. O sea, quiero dar la vuelta para...
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it.
Vale, espera un momento, 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 espera un momento. Si este señor tenía la llave. Vale, si este señor tenía la llave. Al revés. No fuma opio, ¿no? Y perdió el catalejo. Marcas paralelas, ruedas. Es que me faltan dos cosas. en el jardín, pero... Una puta cerradura. Estoy diciendo que es este.
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head.
Yo tampoco le encuentro sentido ya. Pero esto coincide con esto.
Someone moved a cart to this spot and then took it elsewhere. Can't see it anywhere in the garden.
se lo intentó llevar. Este lo drogó. Este me cuadra y usó la carretilla para irse. Pero me sigue faltando esto. Puta cerradura. Necesito abrir la cerradura. Quiero mi puta cerradura. Y el cabrón del dueño, en vez de colaborar y decirme toda la llave, niño. No, me la está ocultando.
If you find my man, I have a marvelous whiskey with your name on it. This dreary rain is making a miserable day even worse.
Es una cerradura poco común. ¿Hay algo por aquí? Tenemos la llave, venga, va. Espera. Yo creo que fue el otro señor.
Surveilling from afar, the intruder waited for a window of opportunity.
Lo tenemos.
When Kimahir went to sleep, the man crept up to the shack and slipped narcotics down the chimney pipe, then blocked it with a cloth.
Y le drogó.
Kimahir inhaled the sedative and fell into a deep sleep. The intruder tried to move him, but the man was heavier than expected. The intruder fell on the sack and dropped his spyglass. In order to transport the servant, he had to use the cart.
Exacto.
The final challenge was opening the garden door. Luckily for our intruder, Kimahir had the key in his shack.
Remarkable. It makes total sense.
Lo hemos resuelto. Entonces la conclusión es correcta. Hay un secuestro. Entonces, catalejo. Esto no es irrelevante. Secuestro me suena. El catalejo encaja bien. Esto encaja porque esto tiene que ser el capitán. Vale. No sé si me puede responder el otro algo más, pero en principio... A ver...
You'd best have found something by now, gentlemen.
I found the residue of narcotics in Kimahir's brazier. There are several explanations, perhaps your servant's recreational interest, or an attempt at poisoning.
Cut to the chase, Mr. Holmes.
I fear that someone may have spied upon Kimahir. Likely the owner of the spyglass I found earlier. It appears they were watching for some time, as there was an impressive amount of chewing tobacco on the ground.
And your point?
You said that you checked the shack earlier. Did you notice the cart tracks near it? Now, one ought to expect a servant to make regular use of such a thing. Indeed, I would have overlooked the detail were it not for the cart's absence. If, as you say, Kimahir never leaves your estate, then where did it go?
I expect answers from you, Mr. Holmes, not questions.
I won't keep you in suspense any longer, Captain. Kimahir was abducted by the owner of the spyglass. When your servant fell asleep, he slipped a narcotic into Kimahir's brazier to make him sleep even more soundly. In order to carry a man as large as Kimahir, the intruder stole the cart and rolled him right out of your garden.
Now, hold on. All this simply to tell me what I already know. Why haven't you found him yet?
I only arrived a moment ago. It is, frankly, incredible that I have already deduced so much.
Every second you dawdle here, waiting for me to stroke your ego, is another second wasted. I'm not interested in the how, the why, or the who. I am only interested in recovering my investment. Spare me the claptrap, boy, and go and fetch my servant.
Truly, there is no better evidence of a man's nature than the way he treats those who help him. And you, sir, are a brute. The cruelty of your ignorance about the Maori people, your selfish attitude to a man's kidnapping.
The point is, Captain, we're telling you this for a reason. The intruder fled through the garden door, and we need a key to follow his trail.
Well, then you should have led with that. Here you go. I hope you'll return soon.
Pero si te hemos pedido antes la llave y me has
And
dicho
in the meantime,
no.
please teach your companion the art of brevity.
Aún la puta. A ver, vamos a continuar las pistas, porque sin las pistas no puedo deducir nada. Y me faltan cosas. Datos. La puta llave de los juegos. Me la puede haber dado ya. Yo ya... A ver. Ah, ahora se ha abierto. Ahora se ha abierto el camino de los huevos. Joder, el capitán Stingway, ¿dónde coño tiene usted las cosas? Aquí, esto, aquí, aquí, pistas. Vale, este es el carruaje.
Wheels picked up grass along the way. Kimahir's cart, I gather.
Una cartera.
Roy Soulsby. Could that be the name of our man?
Oh, sweet.
A strange substance. I have my suspicions based on the color and consistency, but would you care to hazard a guess, Doctor?
Well, it's odorless, but from the way it absorbs water, I'd say saltpeter.
Then we're in agreement. Well done.
La soga.
Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair.
Vale, la escena de investigación está completa. Ahora sí que tenemos las pistas. Bien. La huella de jardín está bien. El catalejo, vale. Tenemos la cartera. Catalejo y web de jardín está bien. Tarjeta de visita. Marinero. Este tío tiene que ser marinero. Obviamente. Bien. Sí, no. O sea, marinero y era ese, seguro que era ese.
The strand proved not so useless after all. The saltpeter accident, Doctor, do you recall?
The port of London, of course. The footwear, the spyglass.
Indeed. We shall need to take a cab there.
Joder, eso está cerrado. Pues nada, al puerto. Al puerto. ¿Y esto?
A large pile of horse droppings. Many cigarette butts. Someone stood here for hours. There was a cab waiting here. Our abductor slipped in and then off into the night.
Está esperando ahí como ratilla. ¿Tiene un taxi? Pero está todo, ¿no? Entiendo. O sea, pregunto, porque yo creo que está. Si no, ya no puede regresar después. No puede. ¿Cómo? No puede regresar después de irse. Bueno, dale.
The port of London, please. I will show you where.
Ya hemos descubierto todo lo que teníamos que descubrir. Ah, mira, al infierno en carretilla. Completa el capítulo 1. Ya lo hemos completado. Capítulo 2, la noche de sangre. Joder, macho, la noche de sangre. La noche de sangre, tócate los huevos.
Mr. Holmes, what a compelling mystery we have stumbled upon. Perhaps I have the premise of my next novel.
One kidnapping does not a story make.
Stop! A black cat crossed before us. It's a bad omen.
No me digas.
I'll take you for the superstitious type, Doctor. Such things are mere fantasies, tricks of a feeble mind. One imagines a physician would keep a surer footing in reality.
Perhaps. Before the war, my time abroad was difficult. Once, I came across an Afghan, bleeding, who I could not save. He pressed a rosary into my hand. A gift, he said, so as to gain God's favor. After that...
Dr. Watson?
¿Qué pasó?
Yes, well, I shan't get into details, but sometime later I found myself lost in the desert. Dehydration set in, and things grew ever more dire. The man's words came to me. I said a prayer and placed the rosary on a rock. A gift to gain God's favor.
And you were rescued?
Yes. A detachment of British soldiers found me.
To whom I'm grateful. Without their diligence, you would not be standing here and I would not have this case.
I'm sure you have another explanation prepared, Mr. Holmes, but I think I shall cling to the occasional superstition all the same.
To each his own, Dr. Watson. So long as it does not interfere with my methods, do it. We must press on, cat or no cat. The question remains, why abduct Kimmer here?
Muy bien. Sherlock le puede preguntar a los transeúntes por una prueba. Pulsa para abrir el libro, casos fijar prueba y hablarle a alguien por prueba ahora, con la tarjeta de visita, ¿vale? Espérate, con esto, ¿no? Vale. Pues nada, gente, lo dejamos por aquí. No nos da tiempo, hemos hecho el capítulo 1. Sombra de Londres. Y el próximo capítulo será Buah, la noche de sangre. Hostia, vamos bien, con los nombres. Nada. Bueno, juego de Sherlock Holmes. La cosa se está poniendo interesante ahora. Lo dejamos por aquí. Nos vemos en el próximo directo. Espero que os haya gustado. Como de costumbre, pues bueno, agradeceros a todos. Y nada, ir comentando qué juegos vamos a ir haciendo. Bueno, especial de este mes de Halloween. Los tendremos unas semanas más después del mes de octubre. Algo en noviembre, hasta la salida del Dragon Quest. Y seguiremos así. Así que nada, nos vemos en el próximo directo. Disfrutad de los videojuegos. Y nos vemos en la próxima. Chao.